Please don't watch it alone. Like, share, and subscribe only if you dare to listen this type of stories regularly. I've always had a fascination with abandoned places, the kind of spots that give you chills just by looking at them. So, when I heard about the old factory on the outskirts of town, I couldn't resist checking it out. People in town said it was haunted, that no one in their right mind would go there after dark. But I was curious, and maybe a little too brave for my own good. I decided to visit it one evening, just as the sun was starting to set. The factory loomed ahead, a massive, crumbling structure with broken windows and rusted machinery scattered around. The air felt colder as I approached, and the wind whistled through the gaps in the walls, sounding almost like whispers. I stepped through the broken gate, feeling the crunch of gravel beneath my feet. The place was a mess. Old, decaying machinery lay scattered around, and the walls were covered in graffiti. It was clear no one had been here for a long time. The place was silent, except for the occasional creak of metal in the wind. I pulled out my phone to record everything. I wanted to capture every eerie detail for my video. As I walked further in, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. I kept glancing over my shoulder. There was nothing there, just empty hallways and the shadows of the past. I entered one of the large rooms where the factory workers once toiled. The machines, now rusted and broken, stood like silent sentinels of a forgotten era. I could almost hear the distant echoes of machinery clanking and the murmur of workers going about their day. The thought sent a shiver down my spine. As I was filming, I noticed something strange. One of the machines, a massive press, seemed to be in better condition than the others. It was still old and covered in dust, but it looked like it had been used recently. I moved closer, my heart pounding in my chest. There were fresh oil stains on the floor beneath it. That's when I heard it. Faint sound, like metal scraping against metal. It came from somewhere deeper in the factory. I froze, trying to convince myself it was just the wind. The sound came again, this time louder and unmistakable. It was like something heavy being dragged across the floor. I turned off my camera's light, hoping to blend into the darkness. My breath was shaky as I stood there, straining to listen. The sound was coming closer, slow and deliberate. My mind raced with all the possibilities. Maybe it was an animal, or worse, someone else who didn't want me there. Suddenly, the sound stopped. The silence was deafening, and for a moment, I thought maybe I had imagined it. But then I heard it. A soft, almost imperceptible whisper. It was coming from the far corner of the room, where the shadows were darkest. I couldn't make out the words, but the tone sent a wave of terror through me. It wasn't friendly. I tried to stay calm, slowly backing away toward the exit. But as I moved, something caught my eye. A shadow, darker than the others, shifting slightly. It was the shape of a person, hunched over, staring right at me. I turned and ran. My footsteps echoed loudly in the empty factory, the sound almost drowning out the whispers that seemed to follow me. I could feel the presence behind me, closing in with every step. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it would burst out of my chest. I reached the exit and burst through the door, nearly tripping over the broken gate as I fled. I didn't stop running until I was back in my car, slamming the door shut and locking it. My hands were shaking as I fumbled with the keys, finally getting the engine to start. As I sped away from the factory, I glanced in the rearview mirror. For a split second, I thought I saw a figure standing in the doorway, watching me leave. But when I looked again, it was gone, swallowed by the darkness. I never went back to that factory. I still have the footage, but I've never watched it. I don't need to. I can still hear those whispers in my mind, and I know that whatever was in that factory, it wasn't meant to be disturbed. I sometimes wonder if it's still there, waiting for the next curious soul to wander into its territory. But one thing's for sure. I won't be the one to find out.